Today, Luzin Basha returned back to Tirana after his meeting this morning with the European People's Party representatives in Vienna. Former DP Chair Salih Berisha, one day after the burning of deputy mandates, says there cannot be free elections with Rama as Prime Minister, urging socialists to remove Rama from government. According to the head of the central bank, political stability is needed to pursue reforms and maintain a positive economic growth. Good evening. It's 6 o'clock on Friday, the 22nd of February, 2019. Welcome to the English edition of Aura News. My name is Oliver, and I'm here to bring you the day's top stories from across the country, translated into English. Well, the opposition has not backed down from protesting the government and engaging in political action outside of Parliament. This morning, the chair of the Democratic Party, Luzin Basha, attended a meeting in Vienna where representatives of other European right-wing parties clarified that their discussions would focus on the political situation in the country. Sources from Blue headquarters have informed Aura News that after returning from Vienna, Basha called upon the Democratic Party executive to discuss further steps of action, including additional protests. It is learned that the executive has been summoned and is expected to discuss further steps in line with what the leader of the DP declared a day earlier in front of Parliament. Even the DP ally, the Socialist Movement for Integration Party, has called on the party's leadership in a joint discussion to decide upon the next steps before the upcoming election. Tonight, just one day after the burning of deputy mandates, former Prime Minister Salih Berisha has called upon socialists to remove Prime Minister Edi Rama from power. He says the situation is moving closer and closer towards a civilian confrontation and that the socialists must remove the Prime Minister to prevent any escalation, stating, "I call on the socialists to urgently remove Edi Rama and his clique from power, as I say absolutely with the deepest conviction that hatred against Edi Rama and his regime will become every day more infinite. They have to know that I witnessed yesterday and as well on the 16th of February, a hatred I've only seen once in 1990 and 91 against dictators and dictatorship. I urge the socialists not to underestimate the situation because the punishment for Edi Rama will be absolute. This is a revolution initiated by students and is now being taken over by the citizens." Berisha said Edi Rama in power poses a national risk, stating, "During each week of ruling, Edi Rama poses a major national risk. He needs to be removed. All the socialists should expel Edi Rama and remove him from power." Berisha also has a message for the internationals, urging them to come up and monitor developments in Albania, as he said they were misinformed. Berisha also responded to the allegations that the opposition is escaping justice by burning their mandates. While commenting on the video about himself that Rama had sent to diplomats, Berisha said he is heading towards a civil confrontation and that the socialists must remove the Prime Minister immediately, stating, "The situation on the social and political level is explosive. This situation is heading towards a civil confrontation and towards a coup d'etat." The Bank of Albania is concerned over the political crisis that has taken over the nation as of lately. Governor Gent Seko said that all political tensions will have negative consequences for the economy as well. According to him, political stability is the key in continuing the reforms and ensuring economic growth, stating, "Any political destabilization has an effect on an economy. We, as the Bank of Albania, seek stability so that economic growth and reform shall continue." Even the academic Anastas Angeli emphasized the importance of fiscal and monetary sustainability at a time when Albanian politics are marked by tension. These statements were made during the promotion of the book Money, Banks and Society, written by two academics, Anastas Angeli and Aristotel Pano. The book takes you on a historical journey through the monetary system from the very beginning all the way up to modern times. Next tonight, another robbery out of the depot in the Interior Ministry is turning into a nationwide scandal after several weapons have gone missing in Pashaliman. It involves the Center of Technical Materials Supply of former Department 100 in the area of Millet. It is learned that two types of pistols have gone missing from the warehouse where other materials and weapons are kept. The missing weapons were noticed in December of last year during the facility's reconstruction phase. It is learned that two of the cases where weapons were stored seemingly underweight by those who were handling the material transfer until upon opening them where they discovered that the cases were empty. Thereafter, an audit concluded that apart from the two missing pistols, other materials were also missing. Immediately, the case was sent to be investigated by the Service for Internal Affairs and Complaints, which, after a verification process, was referred to the Tirana prosecution. The referral was made in December of last year. Prosecutor Elio Mazrecu began the investigation, and verifications have begun to determine the time when the robbery took place. All persons who have access to the depot, as well as those who guard the depot, are now considered suspects. Meanwhile, the case in which weapons were held has been sent to the police in order to uncover any fingerprints of people who may pose as potential suspects. Despite the political crisis and the dismissal of the opposition MPs, the Central Election Commission has continued the process of preparing local elections. The first political party to participate in the elections was registered in the Central Election Commission, with just 5 votes in favor by members of the Central Election Commission. During a session that lasted only a few minutes, Edlir Panatai was elected as chair of the Green Party. Also during the meeting, the CEC budget for expenditures was approved. Regarding the mandates of the opposition, the Parliamentary Council of Legislation will have a 30-day deadline to declare vacancies. After that, the law will determine its redistribution. The procedure on the election of representative members in the Ministry of Education for the board administration has been reopened once again. The lack of candidates vying for membership on the board administration as representatives of the Ministry of Education has forced the ministry to postpone the submission of documentation. At the University of Tirana, the process of handling relevant documentation should have been completed on the 11th of February. However, due to the second order by the Minister of Education, Bessa Shahini, the date and deadline has been set for the 26th of this month. Due to the lack of interest from professors and academics, the process of electing members to the board administration has also been postponed at the University of Medicine, where the applications will be received on the 23rd, while at the Polytechnique University, the deadline is set for the 26th. Meanwhile, the Agricultural University of Tirana is among the few where the results of the elections have been found. On February 20th, the institution received 3 candidates with the most votes by students for the Ministry of Education. The process of selecting members comes under the University Pact, where a member of the board administration will have the duty of choosing students. The Board of Administration, which consists of 7 members, is the highest collegial administrative authority and guarantees financial and administrative progress at the university. Candidates must meet the specified criteria, including at least 10 years of work experience in academic fields, have a public profile and outstanding academic achievements, not be engaged in political party leadership functions, and finally, not to have been convicted or have been a co-worker of the former state security before July 1991. Finally, tonight, the requirement for their status approval remains a non-negotiable condition for miners. Just as they warned last week, underground miners returned to the Prime Minister's court to continue their protests. They said the draft status which they have proposed should be approved in order to benefit what they rightly have instead of discussing it at the table. The miners said that they would return to the protest on April 1st and did not exclude the possibility of going on a hunger strike. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join me again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of Aura News, thank you and have a great night.